he's clearly sitting down, and I'm like, hey man, you okay? And you hear quiet, and then you hear shut the fuck up.
Wait, what do you hear?
Something along the lines, I can't remember exactly, but it was either shut the fuck up or like leave me the fuck alone.
That's incredible.
But my favorite part is I'm like, hey man, you okay? And you just heard quiet, and under his breath, it was like, shut the fuck up.
That was my night at work last night.
Was it?
It was, oh, my ass is in so much pain. And this guy is literally human Shrek. Like, not fat, but just disgusting.
How did your manager, like, not...
She sent him home. She was finally like, I'm not dealing with this.
How did she not fire you, though? Or he after...
I didn't see him yesterday. I don't know, because I guess he was trying to, like, push the envelope, and I didn't let him. So then he knew he was also in the wrong.
Huh.
Either that or everyone left for school and they can't afford to lose anybody.
I think it's probably a mix of both, but I don't know.
Hey guys, guess what? I pressed the start button. Welcome to the Schmucks of the Galaxy podcast.
Oh no!
I'm your resident cowboy.
I'm Cowgirl Beboop.
I was so disgusted by that, I just completely forgot what I was going to say.
I'm Toby.
You wouldn't want to watch, like, I don't know, an anime called Cowgirl Beboop?
No.
That just sounds like the worst porn parody name.
Yeah, it really
with
does.
So many tentacles.
And
Not
cowboy
all
hats.
hentai has tentacles, for your information. Some of them have, it's never mind.
I would say that like I don't already know.
Oh,
I was going to say
God.
something along the lines of, like, I've noticed in a lot of hentai videos.
Okay, let's not. I'm Toby.
I almost just threw up. I'm banned.
I'm Zach. Today, we're gonna...
So gross.
Yeah.
Wait, guys, before we start, I just have to say,
Oh, please.
I love how going through the beginning, you basically just hear me trying to see through the cracks of, like, getting my voice out there, and when I finally do, it's like, so let me tell you about this hentai I saw.
Yes, we're off to a great start as per usual.
Yeah,
but-
I know, I'm giving a terrible impression. That's
Nah,
for sure.
well, a terrible impression of a hentai character, sure, but you always get a good impression.
What was that? What the
Alright, we're continuing. I can't do this.
Yeah, okay. Show canceled.
Alright, guys, podcast over.
We get
Alright, well.
flagged.
Oh my god.
Somehow we make the most, like, notoriety off this episode for only being under 5 minutes.
3-minute podcast, and it's basically just us saying weird names.
Start the next world war because of 3 schmucks.
And then talking about hentai.
Look at that dog
Sandy.
scratch its belly. As soon as you looked, it stopped. The fuck is wrong with you, Zach? Your eyes, they scare dogs. Let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Well, I think before we talk about the second one, we want to talk about the first one.
This is your grossest
Do
intro
we have
yet.
to talk about the first? I don't know. Do we have to talk about the first one? Who's played it? We've all played
Red
it.
Dead Redemption, you mean?
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure because this game's called Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Revolver is, like, Red Dead Redemption is a spiritual successor, kind of like how Bioshock is a successor to System Shock.
I think
Yeah,
I think Red Dead Revolver. If I could be completely wrong, but if I'm remembering correctly, it was made by Take-Two before they acquired Rockstar,
Sounds about right.
and then Rockstar took the license for Red Dead Redemption.
Well, I don't know if they had the license, but I think if they are under...
Well, because Take-Two.
well, yeah, if they're under 2K's... is it 2K, right? That's
Take-Two.
Take-Two?
It's all the same shit.
2K, I'm thinking of NBA 2K. What the fuck?
I think Take-Two is affiliated with 2K also.
Possibly.
But I'm not sure.
But I'm assuming since Take-Two has that license, they're able to use the license
exactly.
as a byproduct. But we've all played Red Dead Redemption. No one here has played Red Dead Revolver, but we're talking about Red Dead Redemption 2, so it's not...
Christ.
Yeah, Jesus, so many Red Deads.
So basically, the point of that was Red Dead Revolver is kind of its own thing.
Yeah. What did we think of Red Dead Redemption 1?
I liked it a lot when I first played it, and it's interesting because if you look at GTA 5, you can see that like GTA 5 is a mix of Red Dead Redemption and Max Payne 3.
Yeah,
3.
that's
Yeah,
true.
3. Because like and there's instances ripped straight from like there's a mission in the beginning when you play as Trevor, and you're laying on like the wing of an airplane.
Yeah.
And like the way he can turn around like 360 degrees is straight out of Max Payne. And then like Michael's bullet time is basically from Red Dead.
Yeah.
But I think they captured like the feel of the Wild West like perfectly,
Yeah.
and it almost the game had like I don't want to say a sepia filter, but it like is that how you say it?
I don't know.
It had that kind of filter without feeling like noticeable or super cliche.
Well, I have to imagine it was very brown back then. No, I'm serious. That wasn't a joke.
I know.
I was totally
trying to
100%
contain myself.
that
That was my fault.
God, I'm trying to have a diplomatic conversation, and all you people can think of is human
I'm
excrement.
sorry.
Shows where
I
we're at.
wasn't thinking of human excrement.
Excrement, but what were you thinking of when I said the word brown?
No, I knew what you meant. I mean, it's a lot of dirt, and then a lot of the structures are primarily made out of wood.
So then why were you laughing?
It was just the way you said it. It was really brown back then. It just sounds
It's
weird.
a scholarly opinion. It's very brown.
You're also forgetting greens like plant life,
tan.
blues.
They had plants back then?
Not really. Yeah. There's that whole side quest thing. I think it's an Undead Nightmare. Oh yeah, Undead Nightmare was like one of the best DLC expansions.
That's true. I never played that.
Because
My
here's the
my
thing.
brother
They
played
took
that.
a gimmick and they made it like actually not a gimmick, if that makes sense.
I was about to say, like, even though it was fun, I remember when I heard about the Undead Nightmare DLC, I was like, this is one of the fucking stupidest ideas
That's what I thought too.
I've ever heard of.
Well, the thing is, so the chronology of me playing Rockstar games is very weird.
Why does everything need zombies? There was like
But it worked.
there were like 5 years.
Well,
in,
that,
like,
that
the gaming
when
industry.
Undead Nightmare came out, it was like in that phase
In
of
the
zombie.
prime,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was like
But
the
it
zombie
wasn't-
comeback era.
It wasn't just they just added zombies. It's like they actually
They
had
added a lot
whole
more
another
zombies.
story.
They added Bigfoot too,
I-
right?
Yeah, Bigfoot, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah. I remember, like, the chronology of me playing Red Dead is weird. I started with Max Payne 3.
Mhm.
I played GTA 5 next, and I then played Red Dead for the first time, and that was a year ago. The
Okay.
only
Oh, wow.
my initial experience with Red Dead was watching my brother play it when it came out. So like in 2010,
Yeah.
I'd watch him play the regular game, and I'd be like, "This is cool." And then I remember when Undead Nightmare came out, he went back to play it, and I would just see glimpses of him playing it, and I'm like, "Oh, now he's riding a horse that's on fire. Very interesting. Oh, now he's shooting zombies."
I played. I think I started with GTA 4 and then Red Dead.
I never played GTA 4.
Really?
No.
A lot of people say they don't like it as much, but I actually liked it better than 5.
I really like Grand Theft Auto 5.
4 is. I feel like you'd appreciate it because it's more of like a crime story, and
Mhm.
instead of this like there's some weird shit, but it's not like there's no Trevor or anything like that.
It's
you know?
not as funny, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually really liked it. But
No, I feel you. I feel like with Grand Theft Auto 4, even though objectively Grand Theft Auto 5 is a better game.
Oh yeah, they made so many like tech improvements.
Oh
but
yeah,
But it's crazy to think, not to
Yeah.
cut you off, but it's crazy
Yeah.
to think that Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 came out on the same platform, because Grand Theft Auto 4 looks like a really late PS2 game, and Grand Theft Auto 5 looks like a PS4 launch game.
Yeah.
Like, it's really interesting.
But there are some
Yeah.
things in 4 that I think they did better, like civilian AI. Like in 5, you'll like bump into someone and they'll just take out a knife and like shank you.
Ooh.
But in did I say 4?
Yeah,
In 5, they'll shank you.
right.
In 4, it's like way more realistic, and then like cops in GTA 5 will like literally just run into you and just shoot you, and if you're Franklin, who's black, they like attack you with way more prejudice.
Jeez.
But like in 4, they're actually tactical, which is interesting. Like in 5, you could just hole up in a gun store and just throw grenades at cops for hours. But in 4, like they'll hunt you down. Like it's they changed it. I guess maybe it was too hard.
I just feel like there's a nostalgia that comes with the 4th game that the 5th game couldn't replace, because even though objectively the 5th game is a million times better than the 4th game, I find that when I think of my like quintessential Grand Theft Auto game, I think of Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't like 5. I really liked 5, but I could replay 4 over and over and over and over again, and then
Yeah.
I won't touch 5 anymore.
That's,
I can't do it. I'm
I
so
agree.
done with it.
Now, I haven't played 4, but I remember as soon as I finished the main campaign for Grand Theft Auto 5, I just stopped playing it.
Yeah.
Because I had no more incentive to play the game.
And
Like, I
GTA
got-
Online is just
I know so many people are into GTA Online. I never got into it.
It's too much of a grind for me. I don't have the patience.
Yeah, I never got into it. Oh, the dogs aren't into it either. Hello, doggy.
It's just, and the community, I guess my problem with it was the matchmaking system, because if you're doing a heist and one person leaves, the whole thing quits.
Right.
And it takes forever. So I didn't have patience. But I don't know, GTA 4 stayed with me more than 5 did. Even though 5 is like technologically and like graphically and all that is better. I wish they took 4 and put it with 5's engine. I'd be so happy.
Red Dead Redemption, even though I played it, it's the most recent Rockstar game I played. It's probably the one that had the least impact on me.
Really?
I know I'm probably in the minority in that. I know Red Dead Redemption.
Well, everyone says the ending, like that's the impact.
Well, I feel like that's one of those endings that everyone talked about, and it got spoiled for me multiple times. I mean, my brother spoiled it for me.
So sorry.
No, I'd heard about it the year it came out, and it took me 5-6 years to play the fucking game.
I didn't
probably
know
why it took me so long.
I didn't know it was coming, so it like hurt.
You
when
see,
it happened.
even though I knew it was coming, it didn't like. Okay, so there are games where I knew certain stuff was going to happen. So, for example, Halo 4, when I was so excited for Halo 4, and like some of the biggest things that happened in that story were spoiled for me, and the game still impacted me because I thought that the writing in that game was fairly noteworthy, especially for a Halo game. But for Red Dead Redemption, and this is coming from someone who loved Max Payne 3 and really enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 5, I played Red Dead Redemption, and when, spoilers, I guess, for...
It's a really old game.
Yeah, but I will give the audience a courtesy that most people didn't give me when I was, before I played it. When John Marston dies, when the main character dies, I didn't care.
Really?
Because I was not attached to the character. I was more fascinated and probably was more intrigued by the supporting characters and the characters around John Marston. I liked his wife a lot. She was really cool. I remember I can't remember their names, but the people, Abby and her.
Wait, Abby was the wife. Jack was the son.
But I'm talking about the lady that.
Oh, the McFarlanes.
The lady.
Was it Bonnie?
I think it was Bonnie. I don't know. Like the lady that he does a lot of.
At the farm. Right?
Yeah, where like you lead her cattle and stuff, and I just thought like the quips and like the banter between those two is really funny. I thought like John Marston's old like cowboy buddies that he had to go, like I wouldn't say hunt down, but he had to like.
I wish we knew more about
chase
that
after.
Story,
right? And
which is what I think the new
and
one's
even like the
be.
asshole, the guys who were like they were pressuring
The
John.
FBI
Yeah,
guys?
like they were pressuring John Marston to do this. Like, nah, we got one more job for you. I thought like the world of Red Dead Redemption was very fleshed out. I just thought John Marston was I thought he was a blank slate. Like I thought he was
kind of. He had a lot of backstory that we never got to see.
Yeah, and even then, I don't know. I didn't really care.
I thought the voice actor is interesting. I thought it was John DiMaggio for a long time, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's I can't remember his name, but if I remember correctly, he's a construction worker, and after he finished Red Dead, he's like, I'm never doing this again.
I can see that. I'll say this: the execution of his death scene, like you walking out and you having to mark everyone, like it was done perfectly in terms of using the gameplay to like. Convey story and like what's going in a character's head.
I mean, did you do the side missions and stuff too?
Not really.
Like, I think you just need to spend more time with him.
Yeah, I think it was it was one of those games that to the game's credit, it was a game when I was playing it, I was sort of like checking something off my list.
It's like Skyrim. It's a laundry list.
To be fair, no, I'm saying like I had a to-do list of games I wanted to play.
I think
and
like
no. I'm saying like it was a game that I just wanted to check off my list and say, okay, I've played it, and I didn't really spend a lot of time like getting my feet wet in the world,
I think that's,
so to speak.
There's like little things that happens with like the side quest people,
right?
That like you wouldn't have known if you hadn't done it,
Now you see that's to segue into Red Dead 2, that's what I hope. That's my main hope for Red Dead 2, that it's sort of a best of both worlds scenario with Max Payne 3 and Grand Theft Auto 5. Because I thought the main character, Max Payne, it was such a compelling, great character to follow because he's such an asshole and a flawed, like...
His voice actor is great. Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Like, he's a great anti-hero, and, like, following him through the motions...
and the noir type of
vibe
really fit really
I
well.
feel like in regards to Red Dead Redemption, it's one of those games where, you know, the Wild West genre, even in film, for instance, is just no longer a popular one, and I feel like within video games we needed that. Like,
it's kind of coming back in games.
It is, for sure. We just needed that quintessential, like, Wild West video game, and I feel like Red Dead Redemption really did fill in that, like, void or gap. But my problem is even though when it came out, I remember really enjoying it, I found that it didn't leave an impact on me. To be honest, though, none of Rockstar's games, aside from maybe LA Noire, left an impact on me. They're all a lot of fun, and they're really well made in every aspect, I find. I just find that for whatever reason, they don't stick with me after I'm done playing them. And they're not necessarily forgettable. They just don't stick with me personally.
Yeah, like it doesn't have an effect on you. You know?
Yeah, it's like they're really fun. I play them for a while. They're great. I appreciate things ranging from the visuals to the gameplay to the voice acting. And I love it. But as soon as it's over, I move on to my next game. I don't really look back.
The only thing that, to that point, where Rockstar games really have a lasting effect on me is their world building. They have a great ability to like make worlds feel real.
Oh, there's
a theory. I don't remember if they confirmed it, but there's like a theory where all of their games are connected.
There's a theory. I feel like there's a theory.
But it was like really oddly convincing. I can't remember.
I feel like there's a theory that certain things are in a connected universe for every single if there's a thing for Pixar, there's a thing for Rockstar games.
Rockstar's funny though because there's a
thing for Ubisoft games.
Like Rockstar looks at that and they just try and fuck with us. Like in GTA 5, this is like well known, but in Franklin's house, there's a book on his bookshelf called Red Dead by John Marston. So like they put little shit like that.
Well, I feel like that's
it's an Easter egg. But
sure.
Like, they try and fuck with us.
Grand Theft Auto 5, they have like a little area where you go like to a hill and it's haunted and you see like a little ghost lady there.
Yeah.
And there's also an alien one.
I remember that.
I do appreciate that. If there's anything about Rockstar that I would say does stick with me, I would agree that it is the world building and all the little things they hide within that world. I don't know what it is about Rockstar games. I think it's that most of the time the storytelling, even though it's really cool and has a lot of cool characters, is pretty. I don't know about linear, but it's very straightforward.
Yeah, start here, drive here, do this, drive back.
Yeah, so even though there's a big world, the main character story itself is usually really direct, and I think that's like why I have a disconnect.
Yeah.
Is because they usually don't develop the main characters, they develop the world, which is the most important part of those games.
Right.
But I feel like when your main character isn't that interesting, it's hard to really remember a game, even if not remember it, but just have it stick with you.
Yeah.
Even when the game itself is really
like
good.
A game that you play and you compare future games to it. Like a game where it like sets a new bar and it's in its own genre. Yeah.
I wonder why. Like,
but Grand Theft Auto 4 might be the exception. That's the one time where it left.
Well, I identify having Eastern European family members. Like I identified with Nico a lot, but like I don't know why. And I'm thinking about it because as you like,
Nico's
you guys
my
are
favorite
saying,
character of all the Grand Theft Auto.
You guys are saying that John's like death didn't hit you, and it hit me really hard, and I don't remember why.
Maybe because
it didn't hit me very hard either.
I was crushed.
Was that like the first game where the main character that you played has died?
No. I just really didn't. I don't know. I guess I just let myself. It's like, not that it's a bad game, but like it's like when you see a bad movie and you just like immerse yourself in it regardless of everything else that's going on. You know.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what I
don't know. I feel like in certain games that can be very powerful, but in a video game where you play as a character and you can die multiple times if you're doing the wrong thing, it can lessen the impact of when you decide to kill a character off.
Sure.
I feel like it's a lot more effective if there's a character in the world that you occupy that isn't affected by the action and they die. Like, I know that it's a shitty example, but the first Watch Dogs game, which is not a very good game, the one death in that game, like the hacker girl, that's your friend. When
Yeah,
she
that-
when she
I was
gets
pissed.
yeah, when she gets because first of all, she's the only interesting
What was her
character in
name,
that story.
Kara?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
She's dead. It doesn't matter. Anyways, when she gets killed, when she's like
Yeah.
at the cemetery visiting,
I was
what was it, her
crushed.
father? I was like,
No, she was visiting the niece. that
her
died.
niece. Yeah, like
My niece
it pissed me. It
is
pissed
dead.
No, I get it. I don't disagree with you necessarily. I think your second part's totally right, and I can see where you're coming from in regards to being able to respawn and things like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, when they die in the game, like story-wise, it's like, oh, they're finally dead, which can
No,
really
yeah, you
impact
can't-
the game.
you
now,
can't
see,
play as him.
that's
You have
the,
to play
that's
as
the intent.
his
and
son,
I
Who looks
get
like
that.
Johnny Depp.
I get that because that's the
Kinda.
intent.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, like in terms of overall effect, like, and again, just to say this one more time, I think
Yeah.
the way they executed John Marston's death was really, really impressive,
I
especially
do
for
too.
a video game. But
Yeah.
I think in a certain games, you
I think
have
they
like,
use that-
It's harder to really.
You're
get
right.
the
I
effect.
think it's because also you can continue playing the game, and even
Right.
though you play as a son,
Yeah.
it still feels the same. It doesn't feel like much of a change.
I
Really?
feel like
it
it-
felt different for me afterwards.
It like
I hated Jack as a character. So like playing as him, I was like, fuck this little kid. He grew a mustache in 3 years. He like literally aged 10 years in only 3. It made no sense.
What I
Yeah.
will say though is I do agree though that I prefer John Marston over his son by miles because he had kind of
I'll agree to that too.
He had
Even though I
kind of a
didn't like
charm.
either character.
he had kind of a charm to him, like
Yeah.
kind of like a Wolverine-esque charm where it's like I've been through a lot of shit for the past
I guess it's just I spent a lot of
Few
time doing
decades.
the side
yeah.
stuff.
I just found
That's how I
John
felt.
Marston to be a really like a wet piece of toast version of Solid Snake, where he's like
Really?
he's an old, like worn out version of like Solid Snake, and that he's someone who's the best at what he does. He's been to hell and back, and now he has to go back into the the world that he just left. But I just thought that John Marston didn't really have like his motivations were noble, but I just thought like in terms of his character, he was the least interesting in that world, and to
Well, sure. I mean, the most interesting character to me in that world was Sid. The
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck dead people.
yeah, that
And
was
his side story in the Undead Nightmare is actually really funny too.
why does
he-
he fuck?
He
a zombie?
basically becomes Michonne from The Walking Dead and just has a bunch of zombies chained up outside his house, and he tries to feed them,
oh,
and
lovely.
it's great.
But
No,
to
I
like,
agree with you.
but to say like
Yeah.
my point earlier is that for Red Dead 2, I hope that they find a nice balance between
I don't know
Max
who
Payne
they're gonna
3 and
make-
GTA 5.
I
You don't
feel
think
like
it's
they're
be
gonna.
Jack?
I hope.
Well,
not.
the rumor is that it could be a prequel with John Marston. It could be about
the-
Jack,
who
or
are
it could be
they-
a completely different character.
I don't know how they're gonna do John without the voice actor.
Yeah.
The only other option I would see is John DiMaggio.
I'd want them to start fresh, frankly. I think
I
I
agree.
think the Wild
I would
West
want.
setting
I
is
would
really
want you
good.
to play as someone other than John, but like someone else in Bill's gang, but like still have John as a character in the.
You
in
see,
the
that'd
game
be
itself.
interesting, but I feel like
Yeah.
even though I didn't really care for the character that much, I do think that they should leave that character and his center, like his corner of this
Yeah.
world alone.
Like I don't want him to be a center.
Yeah,
point,
I feel like
but
they
he's
told.
there.
I feel like they told that story, and telling any more of it would just do it a disservice. Because
Yeah,
there's only
but he was a big part of Bill's gang. So
Right.
if they're gonna center it on Bill's gang, he's gonna have to be
Yeah.
there.
All I'm saying in regards to the new one is that I think the Wild West setting with the Grand Theft Auto style gameplay is really great, and
Yeah.
I think you can do a lot with that. I just feel like in order for me to truly like reinvest in the series, I needed to start fresh.
Yeah, I completely
Yeah.
agree.
I just felt my one complaint is that the world is very empty. And I know
Yeah.
it's the Wild West.
That
but
was
like,
one of the things that made Red Dead so hard for me to invest in. And maybe this is just the Wild West, but I felt
it's
like
just, there's a lot of nothing. It's just
it
trees.
felt very hollow. And we're on the other side of the spectrum. GTA 5 still felt so dense.
I think it's
like there were
because
so many
of
things to do in
it's
that game.
because of the hardware update that we've had.
It
since
could be.
then, but
That could be. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm in the middle because I feel like part of me was like, yeah, this can get really boring because there's only so much you can do. But another part of me was like, this is more realistic to the Wild West.
It is, but
But I wouldn't mind liberties being taken.
It's
to have
like-
a more
like
fun
a-
game.
I completely agree.
it's a hard line to draw where it's like, when does real not become fun?
Yeah, I get that. Like if you're trying to make it super gritty and authentic in terms of reality, totally like more power to you.
Then I would
Totally
suggest
commend
if they
that.
want to make it like total realism, just make the world smaller.
Yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like the appeal of Red Dead is that they get to live out the fantasies of cowboys and Indians or whatever.
Yeah, and then just throw a bunch of NPCs.
Yeah, I
in
feel
there.
like to make Red Dead 2, like if I could pitch Red Dead, like what Red Dead would be perfect in my mind.
Like,
It
I
would
wanna
be like
be-
a game where I get to be my version of a cowboy.
Yeah, like I want to be riding a horse down a trail, and then I see some asshole robbing a train.
Right.
Like
But what if
that didn't happen in the old one because they just didn't have.
And I would
enough
love to. I would love
NPCs.
it if this game puts it like makes it so that you can be that character.
Yeah,
But I'm
exactly.
the asshole that's tying someone up to the train.
Yeah, well, that
like,
was Red Dead
we
Online.
can be whatever version or like archetype. In
Yeah.
the world
I was
of the
about to
Wild
say
West.
that's something that I would want. Like, I also had this idea that just popped in my head right now of what if in order to get to a new destination, but in a way where each like I guess area feels like big but isn't necessarily as huge, filled with just a whole lot of nothing. You could take like the train station, take the old school trains.
Yeah,
into
they had
different
that.
areas.
They had that in the first one, and you could either skip through it or like actually sit and watch the whole thing.
Well,
Right,
I
I
like
remember
the
that.
idea though of having shit go down. Did shit go down in the original? Because I don't remember things happening.
There weren't dynamic events because
I don't even remember the
PS3
trains from the
I
original,
don't think
dude.
the PS3 could handle that.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't even remember the original. I didn't even
Yeah,
remember there was a
there-
train.
Yeah,
There was?
I think you rob it at one point.
Okay, that would be fun. But I think, like, being able to choose whether you just want to talk to people or rob the train would be really cool on the way to your next
So you
destination.
guys want more
That
like
would be
RPG type of elements.
Yeah, I think an being more RPG-like would actually make Red Dead better.
I agree.
There are some games, like Grand Theft Auto, an RPG could work, but I actually kind of just prefer
Well,
playing as the
GTA
weird
5
characters.
is like the lightest version of an RPG because there's still stats in that game, but
Yeah, I don't know. What I like about
I've
Grand
never
Theft
noticed
Auto,
it doing anything.
an RPG
Yeah.
could work, I guess. I feel like it could be really cool. But part of me with Grand Theft Auto enjoys playing
RPGs
as-
don't fit the Rockstar story.
No,
format,
they
though.
don't. But I think for Red Dead, I feel like it would fit more than it would with Grand Theft Auto.
I agree
don't know.
because I think the appeal of Red Dead again is like you get to be whatever like archetype in the wild West that you'd always, been like when you were playing as, on the playground as kids playing as cowboys, and in a world like Red Dead, being able to have more freedom to be whatever version of the character you want. Like you could do that in the first one, but it didn't really
Yeah,
make
like-
sense because John Marston in like how the story characterized him.
Yeah, I tied up a woman and threw her on the train tracks, and I got a trophy when she got hit by a train. And I was like, I don't think John would do
Yeah,
that.
it's like
Watch Dogs 2. You play as like a fucking college kid, but then you can take out an assault rifle and just murder
Yeah.
civilians.
like
it doesn't make sense.
There's a line where I think a lot of games fail to.
It's story
to
versus
me-
gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're wanting to tell a story, but the gameplay is contradicting this. And I think that sort of is a hindrance. Like it's or rather a detriment to something like Red Dead, where you're trying to tell this very emotional story about this man who's trying to do something noble and like get his family out of
Yeah.
this life, but you could literally in between story chapters just like shoot up a bunch of civilians and like kill a bunch of wild animals,
Yep.
and you could just be like the worst kind
Asshole.
of person.
But then
You
on
can
the
be
other
the most-
side of
Yeah.
that, like if you were to play a game, for instance, and I remember it used to annoy me when I couldn't like affect something in the gameplay itself, because even though it helps like the narrative story, the narrative itself, it can be kind of annoying when you punch somebody and nothing happens.
But it would have been
Yeah.
easy, like in the Red Dead story. Like, let's say you get to a town, and they're like, "Fuck you, you were a bandit," and they're all fucking assholes to you.
Right.
Then I would just shoot all of them and
Right.
feel fine. But they don't do that.
But
You
then
know?
if you
That's
do
like
that,
a little bit of a
if you
justification.
do that and resume the story, someone will be like, Marston, oh my god, I've been looking for like. They'll be like, you're the only person who's good enough to do this job. It's like
I mean,
feel
I
like
don't know
I'm
if they
living
were
two
that
different worlds.
heavy-handed.
No, I'm
but-
obviously I'm embellishing it, but I mean like I feel like
Mr. Marston.
oh my favorite cowboy person.
I feel like the second one's gonna be way more balls out.
I hope so because that's what I wanted Red Dead to be initially because
I think they were just trying to redo it like a classic Western type of thing.
well I feel like
But now they
from the advertisements like they're sort of teasing like this group dynamic and I
yeah.
don't know if you guys have seen the movie Tombstone. with Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell
I know of it. I haven't
about
seen it.
the story of Doc Holliday. It's one of the best Western movies ever, and it's a recent one. It came out in the '90s, so like it's probably the most accessible Western movie. That's
Really?
like I don't want to say like for the casual moviegoer, but it's definitely like a
it's
Western
like,
that most people can
on a
enjoy.
scale of what the fuck was that movie? The
The Emoji Movie.
no, what's that Western movie with Chris Pratt?
The
excellent
amazing
12.
The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah,
which is a
on a
remake.
scale of Magnificent Seven to Stagecoach, where does that land?
Not as balls to the wall ridiculous as Magnificent Seven, but it's grounded in reality, but it's still really fun to watch. But
Okay.
but you see, Tombstone is what I want from Red Dead because it has great action sequences, but it also has fantastic characters. And to be fair, that is owed credit to the fact that you have people like Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer who are great actors. But that's something that I would love to have in Red Dead 2. You have great characters, but you still find a good balance between really good substance in storytelling and really fun, like, explosive action.
It's hard to do that with a non-linear game
I agree.
because you can just be like, do one story mission and then just do other shit for hours and then forget.
But at the same time, too linear,
Then you can't do anything.
you run
except
the
for-
risk of having, like, what you could do in Red Dead, where you're playing a really noble guy and you can do evil things in between story missions. You
Yeah.
know? So, I don't know.
There's no, like, I don't think I've seen anything that struck, like, the perfect balance. Maybe GTA 5, because all those characters are assholes.
The only balance that honestly comes to mind is Doom, where the Doom guy he doesn't speak, but in the cutscenes he'll do like certain hand motions.
Yeah, that's true.
And you'll definitely get like visual
There's a
cues that
person
this guy,
there.
that this guy is a major dickwad, and
Well, he's a dude, army dude, bro.
yeah, but and when he like is executing these demons in the most gruesome fashion, and when he's interacting with characters, like he'll flip off people.
Yeah.
He'll like be extreme. Like someone will be on like your comms and be like, if you destroy this thing, you're gonna do all this bad shit, and then he'll like
Just do it anyway.
slowly clench his fist and like make it the most overly dramatic like.
Even when you find a collectible, he like fist bumps it.
Yeah.
You're referring to the new Doom.
Yeah. I'm saying
Oh.
like there's for a character that says 0 words, I was more attached and invested in that character than the entirety of John Marston.
Well, I would say that it's a little bit different though, because I feel like you're not attached to the main character of the new Doom in a deep, like,
No, but again,
substance-based
but-
level. You just enjoy his personality
But
and his quirks. You know?
but even then, like I'm still more invested, and I can still describe to you that character more than John Marston. I can still tell you everything
That's
about
fair,
the Doom
but he
guy.
was very over the top.
But that's the point.
Well, for Doom, yeah, I think for Red Dead Redemption,
I'm not
they weren't
talking,
going
but I'm
for
not
the-
talking about tone. I'm talking about just character. And I can describe the Doom guy or the Doom Slayer or whatever he's called more than John Marston. And I would like to be able to do that for Red Dead 2. To be able to describe Joe Schmo just as well as like.
It's like if you take out all the supporting cast, Red Dead 1, there's no story. But
Well, there
with
is a
Doom,
story, but it's like
who cares?
a wet blanket.
Yeah, but then if you take out like the supporting cast, even though it's a very different story, the supporting cast of the Doom game, it's the same. Nothing really changes.
Like now, here's the thing. I can't tell you all the characters, but I can tell you like.
I haven't
Okay,
finished
these
it.
are
I haven't
all-
finished it yet.
Like, first of all, just disclaimer, Doom is probably my favorite game from last year. I thought it was so fucking
have
good.
you listened to the soundtrack? Like
I
on
love
its
the
own?
soundtrack.
The
It's like
soundtrack is pretty good.
It's
yeah.
so
Yeah.
good.
Like, Doom is everything that a game like Doom needed to be. And I feel like, I know these are very strange comparisons, but Doom, in terms of what a game like Doom should be,
well, they
it
knew
succeeded.
what they needed.
yeah,
to do.
it succeeded on every front. And I would love a game like Red Dead where you
Except for the multiplayer, that was awful.
It wasn't awful. I thought it was fine.
It was unnecessary.
It did. Well, I mean, it's a first-person shooter.
I guess.
Like,
I mean-
it had Wolfenstein didn't have multiplayer.
I mean, here's the thing about Doom is
No, I'm saying it
yeah.
shouldn't. It just shouldn't have had it.
Well, Doom traditionally is a very multiplayer game because, like, the original game had multiplayer.
I guess so.
It's like very famous for multiplayer, and even though it isn't what Doom multiplayer is usually, perceived as.
I guess it felt weird to me because I'm not used to it.
Personally, I actually really enjoyed it. It just felt like it was kind of like Max Payne 3 multiplayer, kind of to bring it back to Rockstar, where like you had the mechanics from the story, but they were sort of like neutered down because you're playing.
That
with
was
other
still
people.
so impressive that two people over an internet connection could go into slow mo and shoot.
But again,
each other.
it wasn't like the same as it was in the story.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's even possible.
Right,
Here's
exactly.
the thing about Doom. It did what it set out to do perfectly, but like as like most games go, I am just not a Doom fan. I'm so not a Doom fan.
You need a good
Doom
story.
3. I do need a good story. I love the third Doom, but because it wasn't
Doom.
Wasn't a shoot 'em up in the same way
Yeah,
that the other
because
ones
Doom
were.
is like the most explosive first-person
But
shooter.
the thing about Doom 3 is maybe in comparison to Doom games, is it not like a great game? Sure, but I think if
It's
you
not a
move
great Doom game, but it's a good
great
game.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Like, it's kind of like if you're talking to Halo fans and they'll ask you, what's your favorite Halo game? And you say, oh, Halo 4. And they'll be like, and this is not coming from me, but if someone said Halo 4, they'd be like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? That's the worst Halo game. And you'd be like, no, it's not. It's not the worst Halo game. It's a great game. Just in your...
Actually, that was probably the first Halo game I enjoyed because I'm not a Halo fan.
Like, but that's
Yeah,
probably
I'm in the
because
same boat, yeah.
Halo 4 is the least Halo game.
Yeah, that's
other than
right.
Halo 5, but
Yeah.
Halo 5 is just a worse version of Halo 4.
I never played
That's
Halo
fair. The thing about Doom as a whole, though, the new Doom, is like, while it does what it set out to do perfectly, it's
not
just
for you.
not for me.
No, I
I
completely get
found
that.
myself getting bored after like 30 minutes because it's the same thing over and
You
over.
see, I would think that too, but how long did you play it?
I played it for about an hour or two.
Oh my god, dude, then you oh my god. You see, you think it'd get repetitive, but it gets so over the top and so explosive, it completely undermines those expectations where you're like...
That was an expectation, though. I feel like if you play a game for 2 hours, that's enough time to get a sense of if it's a game you want to
They
continue.
add new weapons though, and it changes
Yeah.
a lot,
Still,
which is weird.
that might help, but I just feel like for me, just continuously shooting with no plot gets kind of boring after a
Well,
while.
there was a plot, but it was very...
It was linear. It was just for the sake of the gameplay more so.
Well, yeah, Doom is a very gameplay, primarily about gameplay.
Like I
first.
said, I understand why people really enjoyed it and why some of the reviews were as positive as they were. Just personally, for me,
No, I completely
it's
get
just
that.
not my kind of game.
I get that. But I'm just saying, like, regardless of that, like, who Doom's for, Doom is one of those... Doom is kind of like what I wanted from Red Dead, because it's a game where if you pitch it, you have a certain expectation of it. And whether you think it's for you or not, you'd hope that it meets those expectations because you'd want something to be the best version of itself. And I thought that this Doom reboot was the best version of itself because it did everything a game like Doom should do.
I think the over-the-topness in both character and the world that you'd want to see with Red Dead Redemption 2, I agree with. But I want Red Dead Redemption 2 to be not necessarily like Doom.
No, that would work at all.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying I want Red Dead 2 to be insane like tone. I'm saying, like, I just want it in terms of the sentiments. Because Doom, like, it did everything a Doom game should be.
I see, so it should do everything a Red Dead Redemption
Yeah,
game.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
That being said, I would love Red Dead 2 to be a little more silly. Not silly. Bad word choice. I would like it to be a little more fun. Because I thought Red Dead 1...
Pretty bleak, yeah.
It was very bleak. And I feel like...
so was GTA 4. So they had like a little
Yeah, and that's
like,
where... That
gap in there.
Yeah, but...
I'm in the middle because
thing-
I like bleakness. I usually like a gritty tone, but I feel like, yeah, I'd agree that like a little bit of humor.
Now, here's the thing. Max Payne 3 is a very depressing game, but it is ultra-linear. It's not an open-world game.
Yeah.
It's a very, like, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and
Right.
you go on a straight path, you shoot enemies, and you literally just move
But
forward.
the humor helped because the humor
He's such a
in that
nihilistic
game,
asshole.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the humor helped to show that he was so depressed internally
Yeah.
that this compensated for
Right.
that,
But
and that would work for
in
Red Dead
terms of,
Redemption.
but to the point, in terms of
Yeah.
tone, a very ultra-linear game really does benefit from that. But an open-world game, like,
Right,
there's
sure.
less... To the point where, like, I didn't really, like, pursue the side missions. In a world like Red Dead Redemption, where everything was just so bleak and depressing, but it
Well, yeah, that was the Wild West.
yeah, but I know, but in a world where, like, it sets you in this very bleak and depressing world, but there's still a world around you where there's still more to pursue, it didn't really incentivize me to do it, other than, like, unless I was the kind of person where I was like, okay, I need to get 100% and, like,
yeah, I'm not
get
like
all
that.
the trophies or achievements. Like, I don't want to be like that. I want to, like, pursue what the world has to offer me.
I think they hadn't figured out their gameplay yet.
Yeah.
Because they were like, I think GTA 5 was when they were like,
Right.
okay,
And
now we know.
GTA 5.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption was a little bit clunky.
It's
Yeah.
like they were testing shit.
And in terms of Rockstar, GTA 5 did everything what I would like. GTA 5 was my first Grand Theft Auto game. Just putting that out there. And what I imagine a Grand Theft Auto game being, Grand Theft Auto 5 was all of that. And I feel like that's what I want from Red Dead Redemption, because even though Red Dead did a lot right, like very well, it didn't do everything that like the thing about Red Dead, when I think of a game like Red Dead, I want to not just experience the story, but I also want to explore the world.
Yeah, the world wasn't as I think it's literally just because of hardware limitations, but
I'd hope.
it was very empty.
Right. I hope that because even though there are a lot of people saying like the PS4 and the Xbox Ones are kind of like really lower tier PCs, I really hope that doesn't stop Red Dead Redemption 2 from really taking
Rockstar's
advantage.
always pushed the system to
I
its
really hope.
limits.
I really hope. Because I want this game to be something like, I don't buy that many new games because not everything appeals to me.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to like see more of Red Dead 2 and be like, I have to buy this, because being able to play a game like Red Dead, where it's set in the Wild West, that's not like the only other series that I can imagine Red Dead being is Call of Juarez. But like, how many people?
There was the old game called Gun on PS2.
I do
GameCube.
vaguely remember that.
I spent a lot of time with that, so
How was
maybe that's
that?
why I like Red Dead a lot, because it reminded me of Gun.
I see.
This is a weird comment about Rockstar Games, but I find that every time they release a game, I feel like I need to buy it to be like involved with all the hype and just how everybody else is playing
It's
it.
kind of
Well,
like
it's
Valve.
you'll never
Yes,
waste. Yeah,
but I
you'll
find that I'm never that into it.
you'll never.
Yeah.
You'll never waste your money on a Rockstar game. 'cause
That's for sure.
It'll
That's
never
true.
be
Like, you'll never
broken.
regret your purchase.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
I just wish they stuck with me more, because out of all the games I've played, oddly enough, LA Noire is the game that stuck with me the
That's because
most.
that was
Yeah.
the most story heavy one.
Yeah.
out of all
Okay,
of
so
them.
I guess I'm just very story oriented.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, because then there's nothing else to really grasp onto.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like gameplay's obviously the most crucial part of any game.
Absolutely.
But I feel like at the end of the day, when you're done playing the game, the story is what sticks
Well,
with
yeah,
you.
like here's a perfect example. John
So that's why
dies
you
at
wanna
the
get
end of
both.
Red Dead, and then spoilers for LA Noire. Have you played it?
No.
Never mind. I'm not ruining that for you.
Okay.
I mean, are you ever gonna play it? 'Cause
I mean, there's a rumor that there's a remaster coming out.
which is
for,
so weird. I'm happy to hear it, but it's just such a weird thing to hear that LA
there's-
Noire is coming to just a Nintendo console.
Well, yeah, but it's also coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh, is it?
Well, I mean, it would be very weird if it only came to Switch. But it's
Who
coming out
owns-
to. The rumor is that it's coming out for all
that
platforms.
helps. That makes it less weird. But just the notion of a Rockstar game being on a Nintendo console just feels like
It's
a
a little
mismatch. I'm
bizarre.
happy that it's happening.
Yeah, well,
Don't get
it's
me
like
wrong,
the
but
it's
it's
the
weird.
it's the first of its kind. So yeah, I get
Yeah,
it's
it's
weird,
weird.
but like, it's a good thing. Like if it's true.
It's like if they put Left 4 Dead on 3DS. You'd
well,
be like,
okay, well that'd be even weirder because for one thing,
It-
it wouldn't be able to handle the game.
no. But what I'm saying is like, even though if they said that and let's say hypothetically it worked, I'd be more than happy to hear it and be so down.
But it'd be
It's just a weird mismatch of like what Nintendo is about
It's Rockstar
versus what
doesn't-
Valve is about.
right.
You know?
Rockstar doesn't seem to be like a mobile, even though the
Well-
Switch isn't a mobile game.
the Switch isn't a mobile console.
It's
a home
transportable.
console that you can take on the
Yeah,
go.
I
like
think
I
it's-
don't picture playing LA Noire like in
You
my
see,
car,
like I could,
which would actually be really cool.
like I can,
it's
ima-
just a weird thing.
I can
Exactly.
like if I were to play LA Noire and that remaster rumor is true, I would get it on the Switch because I'd be like, this is a game that I've heard great things about. I'd want to
Yeah.
play it,
If you
and if
enjoy
I get
that
a Switch,
platform.
I'd like to play it on the go. You
Yeah.
know? Like I mean,
No, the idea of it is really cool. It's just also kind of weird.
When
why?
we say weird,
I don't
we-
know. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
a pick up and play.
No, I
well,
feel
I
you,
get
yeah.
that, but like, I feel like the Switch is sort of at this point in its life cycle, and it's only been within its first year on the market. It sort of surprised people at how good it is.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
really.
have-
I
well,
came around. I actually really want one.
Well, me too. Like I always wanted one, and it just you have multiple, a huge variety of games because you have like Legend of Zelda, which is an open world third person
Which
action
is
game.
amazing.
And then you have Mario Kart, which is a racing game. You have ARMS, which is a fighting game. You have Splatoon, which is a shooting game. And you have, keep in mind, these are only first-party games in
Yeah.
addition to all the other third-party games that have come out on it.
I think that's. What
So
I'm gonna wait for.
I would not be opposed to a game like LA Noire on the Switch.
Oh no! Again, just to clarify, like Ben and I weren't saying that we're not happy about it. We
No,
think it's
but
very cool. It's just like
it's
a tonal
bizarre.
mismatch. Yeah, it's a little weird.
But I think like that's
It's
sort
like
of,
playing a bloody detective game with blue and red,
Yeah,
bright candy color.
But hey,
controller,
if it-
you know what I mean?
but if
I
Nintendo
guess.
features more games like this in the future, like when Resident Evil 4
I love
came
that.
out on
Well,
GameCube, that was a
Resident-
big deal.
well, Resident Evil.
I actually played it on
What
GameCube.
was it, Zero or Code
came out on
Veronica?
GameCube, yeah.
Well, most of the Resident Evil games that came out during the PS2 era came out on GameCube.
Which was really impressive because at that time it was unheard of for there to be games like that, you know, that are rated M with all the
Yeah.
violence
You see,
and such to be on a Nintendo console.
I feel like
That's
that's,
like-
what it is now. But before, like when there wasn't a PlayStation,
It happened more often, but Resident
happened-
Evil kind of
you see,
ushered that in.
I get what you're
felt
saying,
like.
but I feel like that persona, like, definitely became more
Prominent later on, yeah, I'd
but
agree.
it became more prominent when the Wii became.
I was
so
just gonna
successful
say
because
that.
so many games.
House
that-
of the Dead though was on Wii, is what I remember.
So was Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, but I feel like Resident Evil was the one like franchise
Well, Resident Evil
where it
is
was
coming to the Switch.
all over the board. Yeah, but it was one of those it was one of those series where, unlike other horror games where they specifically aim for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, they were always just trying to get their games out on every
Right.
single platform.
And again,
they could.
I feel like that
and it worked really well
that
for them. Yeah.
notion probably was more prominent just in the last generation, which I feel like that's weird, especially weird now because the last generation was the longest video game console generation ever for about 8 years, which is very I think that was because of the stock market crash or something like that. I forget what reason was why the last console generation
Yeah.
lasted as long as it did. But that generation and basically the first half of this video game generation, Nintendo was like very bright and colorful.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that Nintendo has always had a bit of a reputation for like going for a more family-oriented audience.
Sure, but I'm saying
But
like
they do have
the
great
they only
ambitions, that's
started
true.
like distancing, like they had that stuff all the time.
But it
It's just that
became more intense
they-
later on. Yeah, I
It's
agree.
putting-
they
it's
distanced
putting-
themselves from that starting with the Wii.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's like it's weird putting Splatoon next to LA Noire, where you see naked corpses.
Well, you also see Skyrim's coming to the Switch too.
I know, so I think with these third-party things, they're finally like,
Yeah.
no, we're not
Yeah,
just.
I would love to see Red Dead
cutesy.
Redemption 2 on the Switch.
Yeah,
I'd be so
yeah.
happy if that happened.
But yeah,
I don't know if we can
Nintendo's-
handle it, but I hope so.
Well, I'd hope so.
Yeah. I don't know. Nintendo's kind of always. They definitely have distanced themselves from video game games as a whole, like a lot, especially in the past like few years, like since the Wii came out, in comparison to before. But they did always kind of evoke a more family-oriented
Yeah, it's
like
just
audience.
it's very
than
bright
the
and
other
very
ones.
colorful.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's kind of how it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like
it's-
every
well, you're not
video-
going to see Mario
every plat-
killing people.
Well,
Right.
obviously, but every platform has its persona. Like
Totally.
Nintendo's
Yeah, like
very-
Xbox is the dude bro.
and PlayStation's
Halo.
like the
always-
artsy fartsy one.
I was
like,
about to say
we're
it's like the
so
art house
much-
console.
We're like the best storytellers in the
Have
world.
the Windows!
Right, and then the Nintendo consoles are more along the lines of like just the fun, like the really
Yeah.
fun.
It's like Animal
colorful
Crossing
gameplay.
next to
Yeah,
GTA.
If
right.
I get a Switch, I'm gonna play
It's just
the,
that what it is see, if you look at it all side by side, the mix of games on there is amazing, but also really bizarre.
well, I think that's
it
actually
is amazing.
I think
though.
that's to
Let's
the
not forget
I think
that.
that's to the credit
Exactly.
of the Switch because like you won't find like it's
You
hard
won't find that
it's-
anywhere else.
Well, exactly. Like it's harder to find all of those games
Exactly.
on the Nintendo, but when they are on there, they're with all the great Nintendo games. But you'll have all of those like really gritty games on PS4, but
Right,
you
but
won't
you
have
won't have
any of
Animal
those.
Crossing
Yeah,
and-
you won't have any of those really.
You know what
like,
game should
unique-
come to Switch, even though this is a really weird recommendation, is Condemned. Can you imagine if they brought Condemned
I'd probably
to
shit.
Switch?
I want
Oh
so
my
I can
God.
shit myself on a
That would
plane.
be fucking cool.
I want to. I want to get
Bring
a Swi-
Manhunt back.
I want to get
Fuck
a.
it.
I want to get a Switch, and then
Manhunt on a Switch.
I want to get a Switch, and then
You just
go
hear
back. I want to get a Switch and bounce back and forth between Animal Crossing and Manhunt, and just give you both a seizure.
I want you to forget which game you're playing, and you playing Animal Crossing, and you think it's Manhunt, and you somehow figure out how to slaughter your entire town.
Oh my god, can we? I'm gonna draw that, by the way. Now I'm actually
That's
going to draw an
terrifying.
Animal Crossing Manhunt crossover.
with the pig guy from
Oh
Manhunt.
yeah,
I'm so nauseous right now.
You know what you should do? I'm not sure though. Should it be just the Animal Crossing world, but like Pigsy or whatever his name is just like behind everybody, looking at them really
That's
aggressively?
terrifying.
Or if it should literally
No,
be
the
a scene from
tagline, it should
Manhunt,
literally
but
be
reenacted.
Manhunt, but now, and it says now on the Switch, and it has the Animal Crossing town, and he's just gonna kill all of them.
So literally just draw a scene from Manhunt, but have all the characters be like the Animal
I'll
Crossing
say
characters.
this: do what you want.
It would be so fun. You guys wouldn't be down for that? That'd be awesome.
Honestly,
down
I would
for
hang.
it.
I would frame that.
I would love to.
You'd frame it? Okay,
I
now
would-
I have
I
to
would
fucking
frame
draw it.
it.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Toby's like, fuck, what have I gotten myself into? But because Ben said he's going to frame it, I have to hold him up to that and actually make
I
this
would.
thing.
I would literally frame
But
that.
only draw with your elbows.
Oh, God, that'd be awful. Literally, it would just be smudges.
It would literally look like one of those drawings from The Ring where, like, the kindergarten teacher is like, your son has been drawing some very bizarre, like, illustrations. And it's, like, just pictures of, like, little kids, like, cutting their mom's head off.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk
They
about Red
actually,
Dead
there's
Redemption.
really quickly, there's a Family Guy gag where they do that, and it's like pictures Stewie drew of him murdering Lois, and she goes, I know what's wrong with these
Yeah,
pictures.
his father-
father's not in any of them.
That's awesome.
What else do we want from Red Dead? Like,
I want them to, like, do, like, Days Gone level of NPCs. Because you know how they have, like, swarms of zombies? Which
Yeah.
is, like, I feel like that's the game's gimmick. Even though that's really impressive, I feel like I would want Rockstar to just fill every single corner. Like, have, like...
but with swarms of what? Is the
No,
question.
not like a swarm, but, like, I want to be riding through, like a dusty... Everything's dusty. Like a dusty area, like those areas when there's just cactuses and trees and shit.
Yeah.
Like I would want to see like Indians like fighting off settlers, or like someone robbing a train, or someone like tending their farm, or like bandits stealing cattle. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just
Like
more
there
dynamic
were
events.
attempts of that in the first game, but it was just like very like isolated.
Yeah.
events. Like I think I get.
I
what
would
you
want
mean.
it just to make it feel like people live there.
Like kind of like a very appropriate analogy, Grand Theft Auto 5, because like
yeah,
there was
because not everyone in the Old West lived in a town,
right.
but because they couldn't handle that many NPCs, I guess. That's just what they have to do.
Yeah, I get that. Also, I hope that with the whole team like group dynamic, like they take advantage of like maybe some co-op. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would be really.
Well, with the success of GTA Online, I can't imagine them not doing anything like that. And actually, Red Dead Online, when it came out, was actually really successful.
Yeah, I get that. I would love like. I mean, I can see the Grand Theft Auto gimmick of like bouncing back between multiple players, like, but I don't know. I feel like
I would want that for this one.
I would love Rockstar to like finally, go like, what's the expression? Like broaden their horizon and like do a straight up co-op game, because like you can do co-op in GTA Online. I just would love to have that mechanic
Yeah.
like in a story, like.
Yeah, it's like a step down from, what was that game? Get Out?
No, you're thinking of the horror movie.
No, isn't that the game with you escape from jail and it's only co-op?
Here, let me look.
Isn't that what it's called? Made by the guy that did.
Brothers: A Tale
Yeah.
of Two Sons. Hold on. Let's look this up. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Tale of Two Kitties.
I don't know the guy's name. I can't remember. All I know is that he's from Spain. I'm pretty sure.
Jesus Christ.
A Way Out.
A Way
Out,
Out.
that's
Yeah,
what it was.
get your shit together.
Gee, it's all the same.
It's
Oh,
it's
fun
all
fact-
the same.
Fun fact: the main character is voiced, and like the character model is the creator's brother.
Ew.
Okay.
John Marston is my brother.
I wish. I actually hope if they're gonna have John, I really want them to bring John DiMaggio to voice.
What is your fascination with
No,
John
because they
DiMaggio?
sound very similar.
I mean, yeah, their names both are John.
No, him and the other actor, you fuck. He got that gruff kind of tone that I really like, and it tickles my grundle.
Whoa, hey now. You're gonna bleep that out, or you're gonna leave that in?
Nah, we're gonna leave that in.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that in.
I'm gonna leave it out.
Uh,
I don't know. I just really want it to feel like people actually because they spent so much time in the first game like, this is a harsh land. No, it's not.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of trees and like that one cannibal guy in a side mission.
I that was like during the era where like Heavy Rain came out and everyone's like, "This is the best thing ever." It's like, like everyone was.
I loved it, but there was a lot of room for improvement.
Well, obviously, but I mean, like, there was
Not Heavy Rain. Fuck that.
Well, yeah, fuck Heavy Rain, but I'm talking about
Fuck
like,
you, David Cage.
I feel I'm talking about like
fuck you.
they'll write a story and think that it's the most eloquently, brilliantly written piece of literature.
See, like I don't picture
Ever.
Rockstar being like that. I picture everyone else saying.
You see,
that.
I feel like that's how Red Dead Redemption came off. Like that's like I feel like the no give no fucks attitude.
Well, here's an
wasn't
example. Here's an
Grand Theft
example.
Auto.
GTA 5, they wrote, like, their writers wrote dialogue for all the gang members, and they were like, this sucks. So they actually went into, like,
Yeah, they hired real
American
gang members.
prisons, and they hired gang members to, like, rewrite it. 'Cause
So why don't they just make a fucking time machine and just bring some cowboys here and just ask them how they talk?
I don't know. I feel like they've learned a lot since then, especially because, like, if you look at Red Dead and you look at GTA 5, there's, like, so much more going on in GTA 5. And I think Rockstar is always getting bigger and bigger and better with each game. So I would assume, but I'd also hope that this would be, like, their next step. And if they can take... Because GTA 5 felt very lived in, even though I played that game so much that I never will ever touch it ever again. I can't play it anymore. I just think that Red Dead 2 will have to be that next step.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I don't think Rockstar's really made a disappointing game that I can think of.
I mean, I've only played 3 of their games, so I can't say I've ever been
And they're all very
disappointed by their
different.
game. I don't know, like, how many, which Rockstar games have you played? Just like for a head count.
I've played Bully, I've played GTA 4,
Oh yeah, Bully.
Red Dead,
I totally forgot about that
Manhunt,
game.
GTA
It's so
5,
weird to think that the people who made Grand Theft
Vice
Auto made
City.
Bully.
It's such an it's not an obscure game. In the
No,
sense,
it's a very popular.
It's
a very
only
popular
it's
game, but it's
known
so
for its
fucking weird.
It is very
controversy.
weird. Like Manhunt controversy? Or
Yeah.
because you play as the bully, right?
No, I'm talking about Manhunt. Like,
Oh.
that game was, well, actually both, I guess. Where, like,
You'd realistically
Manhunt
kill people.
was, I think
yeah.
it was Manhunt was the reason that ESRB became a thing.
You think?
I'm almost positive I
But
read
they've
that
had
somewhere.
game ratings long before that.
But not, like, smacked on the box.
No, yes, they have.
I don't remember. Look it up.
Look up N64 cartridges. Like, you'll see
I
game
can't
ratings.
Look up
remember.
Mega 64.
Ew. Here, let's see.
Well, I know they had rating. I'm trying to remember.
Like, look at,
Also, guys, a little
like,
random.
look, it'll say kids of all ages. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they've had, the ESRB has been around
So
since
was
video
that-
games have been a thing.
Was that were they like, there was something I read. It was either like they were just a private organization that like just did game ratings, and now they're like more of a, like an official.
I don't know what
It's like, you know, like the people that do movie ratings?
the MPAA.
Yeah, so they were like not the MPAA, and then after Manhunt, they became like as like you need to fucking follow this shit, you know?
I don't know. We'd have to look
That's
at that.
interesting. Can I just say this regarding Red Dead Redemption 2? Something I want them to do is kind of like how in Grand Theft Auto 5 you had a lot of Easter eggs. Like you had a little mini ghost-related thing, for instance, that's only
Yeah.
like 30 seconds long. If you go to this particular place, you might see a ghost. And while that's not what the game's about,
Well, there's a whole side story behind it. There's like a murder mystery.
oh, very cool.
She's a murder victim, yeah.
I'd like for them to do more things like that, where they have loads of side missions. It's not
Mhm.
like one or two that delve into the supernatural a little bit. Where, like, let's say Red Dead Redemption 2, there's a legend about a haunted house.
Well, that would
and it'd
fit.
be really cool to take advantage
Yeah,
of the
that would
era.
fit more
You know what I
in
mean?
with Western. Yeah,
You know what I mean? And because everyone's super religious at that time,
yeah.
I'd love for there to be side missions.
I
that
mean,
have
it's
to do
it's
with
Rockstar,
those
so I
types of
feel like
concepts.
the ending of that supernatural thing would be like it was a person, but I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I just like to see them explore this world in a way that's not necessarily too
Yeah.
realistic.
Yeah, like I said, I would really love it to be kind of like Tombstone, where it's grounded in reality, but it's still gives itself the liberty to have fun.
But I think they realized that with GTA 5, because like they had like the little part when you get abducted by aliens. There's like all this weird. You can like go on drug trips and
right,
shit.
and like
I think
that's
they
expected
realized
to be in GTA 5.
Yeah, but I think they realized they can do that now.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I think they'll apply the same idea, but
I mean, that's what I hope. But my fear is that they're gonna go back to like, oh, so dark.
I don't think so. I don't think they
I hope not.
I don't think they like making the same game twice. So, like, look at all the GTA games; they're all very different.
Yeah, I get that.
And then LA Noire is nothing like any of their other games.
Well, LA Noire, was it a Rockstar game? Didn't Team Bondi do that?
They did the facial capture.
Oh.
And then they went bankrupt. And then they went bankrupt.
Whoops.
Which is kind of sad.
Whoops,
I don't know. That's why I was surprised you said it was coming to the Switch, because I didn't know if their lawsuit ever.
Well, I don't think Team Bondi are doing it. I think like an
they sued Rockstar for something when the game came out. I didn't know if that ever.
Give it back.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I respect Rockstar a lot. I don't know if they fired their president though. I thought I'd heard they did, but I'm not sure. Leslie Benzies.
That's not a real name.
Yes, it is. It's a man.
That sounds like a woman's name. You're saying that there's a man named Leslie Benzies?
Yeah, he's been like the producer or president or something. But I mean, the two brothers are still there because they founded it. But I don't know if Leslie's still there.
Any closing thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2?
I'm excited.
I want it to be good. All right, clothing thoughts.
Are you okay? Did you just have a stroke?
Me?
Yeah.
No,
the you behind you.
Oh, the me behind me.
The fan.
The dog.
You shouldn't tell me I'm a fan of myself.
Okay.
God.
Basically, the thing is,
Jesus Christ.
I fucking hate this shit.
So what I'm pointing out here, jokingly, what I was trying to say was before we even
Before you had a
recording,
stroke.
Before we started recording this podcast, I was talking about how there's not really that much to say about Red Dead Redemption for me in particular.
Yeah.
So for me, at the end of the day, like all my feelings on Red Dead Redemption 2 are just like, I hope they add some more like supernatural shit, make it a little bit more humorous, and just make it good.
Yeah,
the first one was good.
Yeah.
So
I think at this point in Rockstar's timeline, they've figured out their mechanics, which they didn't. Because like controlling John, like if you
it was a pain in the
have you ever
ass
tried to
sometimes.
jump with John?
It's
It
a
was
pain
like
in the
it's
ass.
like a brick. Like so, I think they figured out like all the gameplay. So I hope because they don't have to worry about that now, they can focus on filling the world and making a story that's not this cliche, like the same thing.
I just want to be able to play a game like Red Dead and have fun. I don't want to play a game like Red Dead.
Because the Wild West is fucking ridiculous.
It should be. And I feel like I don't want to play a game like Red Dead and feel like I'm playing a bigger version of Max Payne 3.
Yeah.
Like, I want to play a game like Max Payne 3 and play Max Payne 3. I want to play a game like Red Dead.
Like, I want to walk into a saloon and have someone
Yeah.
playing old-timey piano, have some guy get pissed off that someone's cheating in poker and just start shooting.
Yeah. Like,
That's what I want to see.
Everything you'd hope and imagine and, like...
It's like Westworld, but more over the top.
I feel like Westworld is already... Like, minus the sci-fi
Minus the
aspect.
sci-fi, you know
like,
what I mean?
The,
just the park.
The Western aspect
Yeah.
of Westworld. Like, that would be great to see in Red Dead Redemption. Because, like, in Westworld...
Just not robots.
Like, yeah, but, like, there'd be part of Westworld where it'd be like, this is a holdup. Obviously, it would be, you know, more worded more correctly. Now I'm having
like, I'm gonna take all your shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
it'd be super bloody. Like people get shot in the head and their faces would explode like from their heads.
It has to be like almost like a
Tarantino movie.
Tarantino. Yeah, I guess Tarantino, where it's like can be really like sarcastic and funny, and then someone gets shot, and it's like holy fuck.
Yeah. Django Unchained.
And then you go to the doctor, and he's like, "I'll just pee on it."
What?
Old West. Everything was pee.
Is this
No, it's not what you're thinking.
Oh God.
This was nothing. It will be stricken from the record.
It shall be stricken from the record.
It's just gonna be like 45 seconds of just one long bleep.
Can only hope. This has been Schmucks of the Galaxy. Thanks for listening.
Go away. I'm kidding.
You heard it. Go away.
Jesus Christ.
Get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh,